I'll say the following. A lot of this sort of fear of robotics replacing these sorts of jobs might not be particularly true, not only because I'm trying to, I'm involved in a robotics company, but because a lot of these problems are actually fundamentally very difficult. And even till today, honestly, I don't think these problems have been solved. Hi, I'm Jiayi, CTO of dConstruct Robotics, and we are focused primarily on using our robots to do autonomous mapping for inspection and reality capture use cases. I'll say that there's a lot of discussion, most certainly a lot of hype going around about this particular subject, about whether robots or robotics in general are going to replace people doing crucial, critical jobs, that sort of thing. We found out that our robots actually are really good at solving problems that, first of all, things that people don't want to do, and secondly, it's actually impossible or very difficult for people to work on. So that's the difference. And it turns out this is the case for both robotics and machine learning. A lot of problems that seem to be very difficult for humans to solve are sometimes trivial for machines or robots to solve. And then you flip it around, a lot of problems that are seemingly easy for humans to solve. For example, if I see a cup of water, I know it's water, right, in front of me, and I'm walking, I just grab my hand, I take the cup of water. So that is trivial for human. But for robot, in real world conditions with different lighting, you're moving, and then the glass is not something that you have seen before. That turns out to be very difficult. It's a problem that encompasses robotics, of course, manipulation, but also machine learning, computer vision, a whole host of other things. And a lot of those problems themselves, those subtasks, are still what we call open research problems. They're not even solved. So I feel that in general, the hype, or rather the fear behind whether robotics replace humans, realistically, even if I were a person that really wanted to replace humans with robots, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. What's actually going to happen is to make robots useful is we work on problems that actually solve things that humans are not able to do. I think that's more productive. Yeah. For us, what we do is we are focused on what we call robot navigation and autonomy. That is getting the robots to actually navigate the world, both indoors and outdoors. Once the robots can actually go out and explore and navigate the world safely, we can run a whole bunch of different tasks or operations on the robots. We have a project that involves sending our robots for search and rescue operations, for critical operations where it's a bit too dangerous to send people in. This is also where two of our core, I think, strengths are. So as I said before, we have, I think, a very strong robot navigation stack, software stack. It sits on top of the robot. Robots can navigate the world very safely, efficiently, and all that in difficult terrain, indoors and outdoors. We also have a very high-performance reality capture stack for scanning the world, reconstructing the world. Turns out it's extremely useful for search and rescue because in say a disaster situation, the first thing you want to do is either you send a drone or you send a robot. But in many cases, what if it's a collapsed building? The spaces are too tight for a drone to fit in, or it's just not feasible to fly a drone in because there's also safety implications. We put for example, laser scanners or LiDAR systems on the robots, and then they go out, they capture the world in very dense, three-dimensional detail with color. You take the robot back, and then when you reconstruct a 3D sort of map or scene of the disaster zone, the actual, and this is where it gets interesting, the actual people, the humans who are tasked to actually rescue, say, people in a search and rescue can actually make very intelligent and ultimately safe decisions on how to traverse the disaster zone to get to the people in need and then do their job to rescue them out. And also, because the map is constructed by the robot, they can also plan an exit path, which is safe. So that's what I meant by adding value, like actual value, right, to these sorts of critical situations using robotics. In terms of what's coming up, actually for me, I think it's a couple of things. So getting our robots to actually understand and capture the world, the reality capture, that part is really interesting. There's a lot of advancements in that field. It has a lot of implications as well. So one of which is it allows us to sort of navigate the world more safely. For example, getting robots to even say navigate this room, there's a lot of glass here. It causes a lot of problems for sensors, especially LiDAR, because the laser shoots through the glass and then lots of not so great things happen. So being able to let the robots perceive and understand the world, having some contextual knowledge is quite important, in my opinion. We're getting the robots to sense the world, collect data a lot more efficiently, and then make decisions out of it. That's actually one of the main problems we're trying to solve. Truth to be told, it doesn't sound that exciting if you were to isolate the individual problems. But if you were to talk about solving those problems at scale, then it becomes really, really interesting. And once you have things at scale, that's when you can actually start making some very important decisions about a lot of things, which will impact, I think, many industries downstream. I'm an engineer, so I want to solve problems. We work hard, and we try to solve these fundamental problems, and then get the world to, be more productive, to work to be better for, humanity or institutions as a whole. I think that's our ultimate goal. I feel like what actually is important is we can actually keep to our promise, our word, and then actually solve these problems for real and actually make the actual impact. I think that's more important. I'm Jiayi, CTO of dConstruct Robotics. We are focused on robotics for navigation and autonomy. And we send our robots out for both inspection and reality capture use cases. So thank you so much for watching this interview. Hope we all learned something.